This is really about us, about human behavior. And if you read financial history, you realize that's what it's about. And you and I together can make decisions that we wouldn't make if we were standing at the with 50,000 Arsenal fans, for instance. You know what I mean? The decision-making process can be contaminated by a feedback loop from everybody who's standing around us. And one of the great things about financial markets is it's not about the decision of the individual. It's not the decision that you make. It's the decision that the group makes. And that group can make radically different decisions. Well, we see it. I mean, we see it in politics. It's pretty horrific and frightening when you see it in action. And somehow when it comes to markets, we kind of assume that's not going on, that each one of us is individually, rationally making a decision, and we're not getting caught up in this great feedback loop. Well, look, you just have to read anything about crypto to see that there's a crowd, and the crowd eggs each other on. And, I'm not saying crypto's good or bad, just to be clear. I'm just saying that quite obviously crowds form. So when we study these decisions, what's really interesting to me is they're not the decisions of the individual. A lot of the psychology work, Kahneman, for instance, is the psychological issues on the individual as decision maker. But even he didn't dare tackle group decision making because it's so difficult and so complicated. So one aside on that, I run a course in finance and I wanted to have a thing on group psychology. I thought it was really important. So I found the 2 UK experts on group psychology. So I phoned the first guy up. I said, run this course. I'd like you to come and talk about mass psychology and group psychology. He said, I don't know anything about finance. I just specialize in football hooligans. I said, you might be surprised.
Yeah, the similarities and the themes.
So I phoned the second guy up and I said, I want to talk to you about group psychology and finance. He said, I don't think I can help you. I just focus on the police. I said, well, you might be surprised to know. So the interesting thing is it's about human decision making. But that group and that feedback loop, which is clearly evident and working in markets and makes them so much more difficult.
You might experience echo chambers. I think Wall Street Bets was like a kind of an example that made people understand that you could have, because what's happening in there is not rational behavior. It's often described as degenerate, out of choice. People making ridiculous bets and waving them and celebrating losses.
It's tribal. Every human being wants to be in a tribe. It's just natural. We all seek it every day. And because of the internet now, you can massively amplify it and you can massively amplify opinion. So we've got really amplified tribal behavior and we enjoy it. Most people I call it a tribe, I just mean a group. Everybody's looking for their group and you can find them now. And then, of course, it's an echo chamber. The very definition of the group is you exclude people who don't agree with you.
That was a clip from our full-length conversation with Russell Napier, who's a financial history expert. If you want to watch the full interview, you can check it out right here.